Tony. I got two handsome fellas, two handsome Ridgers right here with me, guys. And we're gonna let Tony give us a little story about, back then and now. And
thank you, Pam, and thanks, Don, and I appreciate the invite, and I'm honored to be here, actually. I'm calling in from north of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I've been here for about a decade or so. You posted, I think Don posted a second grade class book photograph, and I was surprised how many people or friends that I really, really knew well from high school was in that particular second grade class. I was only in Morrison, I think, really quick year. And then when my grandma died, I went back to Grafton Kennedy. And so I was surprised of all the names I knew in this, one class that I was only in for a short period of time. But I'm glad it's a good picture. I think I have all my teeth.
Can you see this picture, Pam? Tony, can you see your picture?
Oh yeah, I'm kind of really focused on Ray Purcell's turtleneck and giant collars. I think that is just an awesome picture. To me, Ray never changed. He's still youthful looking. You guys asked me about memories from second grade, and holy crap, I can barely remember high school. I mean, if you ask me for a memory in freshman or sophomore year, I don't have much. I do remember in the neighborhood around Morrison began my love with things with small wheels. So I remember I had just moved from my big wheel to a bicycle with two wheels. And I think I got a skateboard around that same time too. So I think I was really impressed when I finally saw a neighborhood in Dayton that had sidewalks, because we never had sidewalks. We just had, asphalt and gravel, and that was the side of the road. And I remember when I first saw a neighborhood in Dayton, I remember thinking, wow, Dayton must be like really rich. They got public pools and they have sidewalks and there's no goats in the yard. That literally is my only memory of Morrison in second grade is bicycles, and I was surprised to see so many people that I grew to really like and respect from high school was in this one class. I never thought of it that much. I remember one of the biggest memories I have in high school is I had a class of 85 t-shirt, and one of my teachers said, I think you should put a question mark behind 85.
Wow.
Because I had skipped so many different classes that last quarter semester or whatever, I had to take every class and pass every class for me to have enough points to get out. But I was just ready to go. And so my mom didn't even know it. When I turned 18 that senior year, I went down and joined the Army. Told her after I came back, I remember she had said, I can get you out of this. Like I was somehow coerced into joining the Army. But no, that was my ticket out. I didn't want to go to school anymore. I remember disliking just the whole aspect of high school so much. I didn't even want to go to college because I just figured it was just like high school with just more difficult classes. And I was so wrong. I didn't go to college for probably another decade. And I actually liked it. As much as I was not the academic athlete whatsoever in high school, once I got a little older and more mature, I really enjoyed going to school and, went to college for a bunch of different degrees, actually.
Awesome.
And I guess that kind of leads me to now. I finished grad school, and I did it so I could teach after I retired as a police officer with Dayton. I spent all my career in Dayton as a police officer, and so I was 36, I finished grad school that summer, and I remember thinking I had 7 more years to go before a full pension. And I'm like, why did I need to wait 7 years to be happy? I couldn't stand being in Dayton any longer. I'd already been there long enough. Then you had residency, so you had to live in the city limits of Dayton. That changed after I left, but spent the whole career having to live someplace that you didn't want to live. Mm. And so I threw my resume out there, and the best offer was up here in Minneapolis, and I did not want to go north. I wanted south. To me, Huber Heights was too far north for me. All my family's from the south, and I wanted someplace warmer. And but when I landed here in Minneapolis, it was just gorgeous. It's like a clean Chicago with less crime, and fell in love with the place and been here ever since, except for a short stint in New Mexico last year. Yeah, so when TSA was created, a lot, they had to just instantly create this huge, giant organization. And there was quite a few people that I worked with in other departments that left, and they weren't near retirement. So I'm like, well, hey, how are you doing this? And so I learned through friends of mine that left their department to go to TSA that they just froze their pension. So once you had tenure in the pension, you just had to wait. You didn't have to serve the 25 years. Your money has to serve 25 years. And so I froze my pension when I left. Your 3 highest years is locked in, and then collected it when I turned 48.
Oh, okay.
So I left the PD, froze my pension, went to work as a consultant up here, basically doing fraud investigations, and and then started collecting my pension in 2015.
What do you miss about Ohio? Anything?
I miss my mom and my son. I always look forward to coming back. And then once I'm back for about a day, I can't wait to leave. I do miss Marion's. I realized it wasn't until after I left that even though you may not be close with someone, or drinking beer with them every day, or hanging out, you do have a support network of simply because you've known people for so many years that if some emergency happens, you can call and they would come help. It wasn't until I got up here and there was no one I knew. Just me and Danae were the only ones here when I arrived, and I realized not having that support group outside of me and the wife was pretty, kind of nerve-wracking. And I realized I took that for granted the entire time I was dating, having friends and family nearby.
Now you have just the one child, just one son, is that right?
Yep. Okay. Yep. My son Joseph, he is 26.
Wow, that's cool.
Now, is he following the footsteps of Dad?
His plan was, what's very interesting, and this is sort of a weird turn of events, but so the same year the bridge collapsed up here in Minneapolis, made national news, all kinds of cars in rush hour, fell down on the bridge, people died. It wasn't long after that I got diagnosed with a really rare heart syndrome and had a defibrillator installed. And it's a genetic thing. And so, I had my son tested, and he was about 12, I think, at the time. And yep, he had it. So we had to have a defibrillator installed, and that really kind of screwed up. He had planned on joining the military. He had planned on going to the police department. And even though it's just there as a prophylactic, it's there to prevent or to respond in case you went into VFib. That kind of changed his career path. So no, he is not following in footsteps. He is running security at the Dayton Art Museum downtown.
Oh, wow.
That is really cool. I mean, me and my daughter talk about the Dayton Art Museum all the time. That's cool. And also I want to ask you about your beautiful lady that you have, that I see your pictures on Facebook. I want to ask you about her and how you met, and
So Danae and I divorced in, I want to say 2010. And I had not been single at all in my entire adult life. I got, married at the beginning of my police career, and, been married my whole life. And so dating in age 40, I want to say I was 41 or 42, it was just weird and difficult. And even though you think, I was working at a hospital at that time, that would be a target-rich environment. It wasn't. I think once you reach in the 40s, it's not the same goals when you're 22 or 24.
Right.
And so my wife and I met on Match.com and dated for a year, 2 years before we got engaged, and still happily married. I call her a retired farmer's wife. So she was married to a farmer most of her, adult life. And so in comparison to a farmer who's got to, work 7 days a week, year round, the bar is pretty low for me to meet as far as being a good husband. So that's been my biggest benefit, is not being a farmer.
Do you have a motorcycle?
Yep. I have a Harley, and I also bought 2 years ago a convertible, just a two-door convertible Nissan that I just fell in love with because I started shooting competitively when I started collecting my pension. And so I decided, instead of buying things, I was going to spend my money on experiences. So I've been traveling all over the United States, going to shooting competitions, and I did it on the motorcycle. But Harleys aren't the smoothest bike in the world, and I would arrive at the shooting competition the night before, and my right hand would be numb from having ridden those 6, 7, 8, 9 hours to get there, and then dealing with weather. And oh my God, living in the upper Midwest, the distances and the weather, oh my God, it's just, in Ohio, traveling down to Tennessee, yeah, it might rain and wait 5 minutes and it'll stop raining. Here, it's like you need to build an ark.
Really?
It rains days. It's really severe wind, really severe everything. Yeah, it definitely has made enjoying two wheels a challenge.
What is the weather like? I mean, do you have like full seasons like we have here in Ohio? All of them?
We have all of them technically. One of the things I probably do miss about Southern Ohio is the spring and the fall in Ohio is, I would say, pretty long in comparison, and a nice, pleasant weather. We had snow 4 days last week. Spring and fall here is really sort of non-existent. It lasts for, just a few weeks. I remember one year having just huge amounts of snow on Halloween, and I never saw grass until late April. But when it gets down to negative 23, 24, and the high is like -8, it is gorgeous outside. It is clear as a bell. It's usually really, really still. It's quite beautiful, and you just have to deal with snow because it doesn't melt.
Oh, wow.
There's giant snow mounds right now because it'll still be there for a couple months. But the weather I got used to, and the people I fell in love with. The people in Minnesota are just really, really nice folks. That's the biggest reason why I've stayed.
So is the accent wearing off on you, eh? Isn't that kind of a Canadian type French accent up there? A little bit?
In the cities, there's hardly any accent. It's like any other large city melting pot. As soon as you get out into the country, yes, it turns into hosers and oh my gosh, and, elongated O's. But yeah, when I stop hearing it as much, then I realize, holy crap, I may be doing that. But because all of my family's from the South, everyone here thinks I'm from Arkansas. So from the South from here, and everyone thinks Arkansas, Missouri, and I'm like, no, that's not me. So they hear my Ohio accent.
Well, you look great. You've got pretty much most of your hair. Actually got pretty much all your hair. That's a blessing. You look healthy. You look happy. What would you like to share with our viewers, whether it's the Northridge alumni, some veterans from the Dayton Police Department, from military, whatever it is? What would you like to share with our viewers here with Coffee with Pam?
Time is really important. It's great to have long-term goals, and you have to kind of persevere and deal with difficulties, but you don't have forever. And I would say that my decision to leave Dayton and see what my resume would get me was really hard to make that decision. You don't think that you can, restart someplace else or do better. That's probably the biggest challenge. Can I do better? And oh my God, it's paid off and tenfold. Making life after law enforcement isn't too easy. Maybe waving a wand at the federal building or just drinking. Not a whole lot of other options. And so be able to create a career after that, I'm really blessed to be able to have done that. So yeah, my only advice is use the time you got wisely and don't be afraid to start new.
Awesome. Another thing, obviously, we're going through some uncertain times here with the coronavirus, right? With the COVID-19 social distancing, because normally Pam and I would be sitting on her back patio doing this, or she'd come up or down here because I'm close to Cincinnati. So I appreciate that. So the reason we're doing this, one is to bring some humor and joy. I know we're running out of time here, but what closing statement would you like to share as far as people to persevere through what we're going through right now? I know Pam and I try to be encouraging and inspirational, but what would you like to share as we close our show?
Yeah, that's a very difficult question to have a good answer for. Since this thing started, both me and my team have been working from home specifically, which I thought would be, hey, cool, great. And it's been harder, not because of the work itself, but just not going anywhere, not having a routine. I would say that the best advice I can give in this current environment is trying to develop a routine. It won't be what your other routine was, but whether it's I'm going to work out at this time of the day, or I'm going to start my remote work day at 7 each morning or whatever, don't treat it like it's a Saturday. It gets really old quick. And so I've been trying to have a routine, and that has helped immensely, because I don't think my work days will be changing back anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, Pam, my sayings, right? Launch each day with purpose, navigate with principles, and explore with passion. And then obviously on our perspective, we can make it a great day. We have that power, right? The attitude that we choose. So that's kind of always my closing statement and what I want to express. But Pam, I'll let you close us out.
I want to tell everybody again, the same thing. Stay safe. I know it's hard. I know, we're all getting a little bit, we're getting really antsy. I mean, we're all wanting to get back to normal, but we have to be persistent in staying safe and keeping our family safe. I've got my mother, and, I just want to tell everybody that I love you. We're going to make it through this. It's not forever. This is temporary. This is all just temporary. And I also want to say in closing that I am missing an old friend. He just passed 2 years ago. This is Roy Gibbs. Roy Gibson bought me this coffee cup. He's a good friend of mine, and he passed with cancer 2 years ago. And he'll never be forgotten. He'll always be my friend. And all of you, I love everybody. Stay safe, be good, keep your distance from people. And this is kind of cool because I've got to talk to two handsome Northridge boys, and I love this. I love to get to talk to people that I don't get to talk to. So Tony, I'm glad you came on, and I'm glad you had coffee with me and Don, and take care and stay safe. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out.